Hola, hola, mi gente. Caro aquí con el compa Jorge, who is joining us from Phoenix tonight. Hello, everyone. This is our final check-in. As y'all know, we've been doing these check-ins throughout the day, talking with compas from pretty much everywhere across the country and even outside the country. We've connected with folks from Argentina, PR, Georgia, Florida, Texas, and Jorge, so glad to have you here with us. I'm going to toss it to you for a quick intro, and then we can get started on what you've been seeing on the ground and what that energy and mood is like. So, Jorge, te la paso a ti.
Yes, hi everybody. Jorge Gutierrez here, Membership Director at Mijente, and joining the conversation live from our election watch party here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Awesome, awesome. So tell us, like, what's the energy and the mood like on the ground today? What are you hearing from voters, from community members? I know you shared that a few folks are trickling into the watch party. So what's the vibe out there?
Yeah, so we're waiting for more folks to get here, but as you can imagine, right, folks, I feel both nationally and locally are feeling super anxious, super nervous about what's going to happen tonight. And especially in a place like Arizona, right, there is an anti-immigration ballot initiative, 314, that would deputize local law enforcement to act as immigration agents. So, right, that's going backwards. That's aggressive, right? Where in Arizona, right, folks here in organizations like Puente were able to, fight SB 1070. They were able to take, Sheriff Arpaio out of office, and so to have this be on the ballot this year feels super aggressive to communities here in Arizona.
Awesome. Thanks for shedding light on that, very important fact that there are a ton of ballot propositions. Pero también igual, we also have a few local races that we're keeping an eye out there tonight in Arizona. So we've got Jen Allen for Pima County Supervisor, Betty Guardado, and Ayensa Milan for Phoenix City Council. So why are these races so key for our gente out there? And what updates can you give us about how it's looking for them tonight?
Yeah, well, look, one, the numbers are still coming in for Arizona. I think for us, right, like at the end of the day, these are going to be really harsh elections. But we understand that like down the ballot, the local races are really important. And at the end of the day, right, local, whether it's your city council, whether it's your county supervisor, right, these are folks that are, really closest to the people, right? And so we need champions. And so at the end of the day, these are the folks that we endorse here in Arizona who are championing our people, who are putting our people first. And in many ways, these are the people that make people believe in government. And so, so we're waiting anxiously to see what the results are going to be for some of these races. But folks are staying hopeful.
Awesome. Love to see it. So let's talk about the sign behind you. You're joining us from Phoenix, the final stop on Mijente's El Chisme 2024 tour. So first off, can you tell us a little bit about the El Chisme tour? Why did Mijente launch the tour, and what's the goal behind taking it across multiple cities across the country?
Yes, right. So, as tonight, right, is the epitome of this 20 plus city tour. We went all over the country in Puerto Rico. Obviously, we understand, that the sort of the federal chisme, what's happening with this election is super important. But for us, right, as a movement building, as a base building organization, right, what's happening local is also as important. And so, part of why we launched the tour was like to have an ear to the ground of what are the issues that our people are really caring about, what are the campaigns that our folks are working on, right? What are the organizations out there who are doing some really, really, really good work that we can uplift and amplify and support? And so, and obviously, right, to grow our base and our membership, bring in new people into the fold, to say, right, elections are important, but they're not enough, right? That's the only one way to participate, in this democracy. And, the other is like, what do we do in between elections, right? Like the building with each other, the organizing that we're doing, right, to push, our pro-Gente policies, both at the local and national level. That's like, super important. And so that's why we launched the El Chisme 2024 tour to be out there in different cities and new places that maybe we haven't been, to see, sort of scope out what's happening out there. What's, and obviously, right, like how are folks feeling about this presidential election this year?
Solid. Thank you for sharing. So you've been traveling and engaging with our gente across the country through this tour. I joined you in Santana and Los Angeles. We had a really good time. We just ended in Tucson before this Phoenix one. So Dime, can you share like a memorable moment from one of the stops that really stood out to you, that really spoke to you? Any favorite moments that you've had from across the tour?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to do a whole evaluation, right, of the tour and debrief and reflections and all of that good stuff. But I think some of like I don't know, maybe I'm gonna say like some of my top cities or like it's like obviously like places like Chicago, like Milwaukee, like Cleveland, like I mean, I'm gonna shout out, Gainesville, in Florida. I think it was the place that we didn't have on our map when we started the tour, where we had, some members there who were like, there's students here, there's community members here that are, are wanting to plug in, or who are wanting to sort of, carve out more progressive Latinx spaces in their communities. And so, that was one of the places where we had a lot of families show up, and participate and stay the whole time with us, and had some really good questions around what's happening locally, our thinking around these elections and what do we do after. And so, yeah, I'm going to give a huge shout out to Gainesville, because we literally, folks planned that in such a short time. And we had like, over 130 folks that showed up. And again, a lot of families. And so that was really beautiful to see.
Awesome, beautiful. So before we launch into the final question, again, huge shout out to the folks who are joining us. We want y'all to be a part of the conversation, so go ahead and drop in the chat what races you're waiting on, what you're looking at, if there are any exciting things happening in your communities as far as the election tonight, and let us know in the chat so we can shout that out. Entonces, Jorge, so we know que pase lo que pase in this election, we're still waiting on returns. Mijente is going to stay committed to continuing to build power for our communities, both during and after 2024. We know that the work continues, la lucha sigue. So what does that look like for us moving forward, no matter what the outcome of the election is tonight?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's been really clear that no matter what happens today or in the next couple of weeks with this election, we are committed to base building, we're committed to organizing. And I think, we want to continue to do more of this deeper around this chisme, right? After hitting up 20 cities, what's next? What are the places where we can build? Where are the new folks that we need to be in conversation with, organizations that we need to be in new partnerships with? And so to us, that's been super clear. I think that we're looking right to build in what sort of our framework that we've been sort of working under in the last couple of years, right? Sin contra deste, and what are the projects, what are the organizations, what are the initiatives, what are the policies that we can push at all fronts in our communities, both at the local and national level. And so we'll see again what happens with the election, whether there's opportunity to organize at the federal level. And if not, we've always known that the local organizing is as important in the work that we do. And so looking forward to being in community with folks, processing what's going to happen, but also getting back, right? Like rolling up our sleeves, we have our work cut out for us, and we need to be able to stay clear, keep our eyes on the prize. And again, right? Yes, it's important for our people to participate in elections, right? But also important, what do we do after, right? And not waiting around to see who's going to end up in the White House.
It's so solid. So thank you so much for joining us. We launched our series today, just looking to connect with folks on the ground, hearing what's happening. Porque, I feel like it's election day. A lot of us are tuning in to these channels, kind of skipping through them, checking out our timeline, seeing what else social media is saying. But we know that nobody knows better than us what's happening on the ground. We've been doing the work, educating, mobilizing, connecting with our gente. So Jorge, thank you so much. Any last final words that you want to share with our gente who is watching across the country, across, Puerto Rico and elsewhere?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, right, like I'm definitely feeling super anxious, super nervous of what's going to happen, right? There's different scenarios that are, that are floating around. And I think for me, what's keeping me really grounded, I think it's, I got a text earlier from my niece that she voted for the first time. What also keeps me grounded is just being community and like just knowing, right, that like elections is just one piece of the puzzle, right? It's not everything, and that no matter who ends up as president, we need to organize, we need to continue to push, and so I hope that folks are in community with your friends, with your loved ones, with your families, that you're having your favorite drink tonight, that maybe you're unplugging for a minute, and I think that there is. Maybe we won't find out who wins the White House tonight. It might take longer than that, but I hope that ya, que la gente sepa que el trabajo no termina hoy, que el trabajo sigue y tenemos que luchar y organizarnos to be able to improve the lives of all working class people in the US and around the world.
Absolutely. Muchísimas gracias, Jorge. Muchísimas gracias a todos who tuned in throughout the day. We've had 10 plus conversations, just connecting with folks, figuring out what's happening on the ground. I'm very grateful to everybody who's tuned in, whether you've been here for like all of them, whether you've tuned in for a couple, whether you're just catching Jorge and I. Again, thank you so much for sharing space with us. And like Jorge said, la lucha sigue, and we're going to keep building that power. So gracias everybody for joining us. Y gracias a ti, Jorge. Hope you have a great stop. Like we said, it's the last one. It's going to wrap up this entire 20 plus city tour. So we're sending you good vibes. We appreciate the good vibes you're sending us. And we're going to have a great day tonight.
Yes, bye everybody.